Did they think this one started at 7:32? Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, it's a little ridiculous. Good boy. Play all the hits. Left the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let me finish. How am I supposed to go to bed after watching that? I'm quite hyped. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Right. We don't have to spend too much time on this one. I know the Leafs didn't. Leafs lose 7-3. The game should have started at 7:30. It's 7-3. Leafs lose 7-3 to the Tampa Bay Lightning, losing Game 4 of their first round series, and now the series is tied at 2 games apiece. I bet that you didn't bet that game was going to go as poorly as it did, but if you did, I hope it was with Sports Interaction. Sports Interaction is Canada's sportsbook. You can bet before the game, live in action, and you can bet on your favorite players. Like, for example, did you bet that Steven Stamkos would score a goal? Because Sports Interaction had him at a 2.35 before the game. 2.35? I wish it took him that long to score. SportsInteraction.com/STP. Ow, that game hurt. Was anyone watching the Watch the Leafs game with Steve Dangle stream for Game 3? What did I say all throughout the back half of the third period? If the Leafs continue to play like this, they are not going to win. I ended up being wrong, but not by much. Yeah, they managed to get the 2 empty netters, but it was rickety as all heck before that. Sorry for the strong language. And you know what? We can talk about this. How about we talk about this? We can do questions early. You want to do questions? Here's one from producer Nick. Elliot Friedman said the Leafs are 1-8 in games after taking the series lead since 2017. Thoughts? Yeah, well, my first thought is there's no way the Leafs have had 9 games with the series lead since 2017. Let me see if I can do it off the top of my head. They lost Game 4 to Washington. They didn't lead for a second of the 2018 series. They were winning after Game 1 of 2019, lost Game 2. Winning after Game 3 in 2019, lost Game 4. Winning after Game 5 in 2019, lost Game 6 and 7. Winning after Game 3 against Montreal, won Game 4, then lost Games 5 and 6, and then also 7. And they were up after Game 1 and Game 3 in this series. Holy cow! So you want to know my thoughts, Nick? You want to know my thoughts? So what are my thoughts? The fact that the Leafs are 1-8 when leading a playoff series since 2017. They haven't won a single elimination game over those years as well. You know what I think? It's not those years, is it? And it's not 2017 or 2018 or 19 or 20 or 21. It is 2022, where the Toronto Maple Leafs have home ice advantage over the actual Tampa Bay Lightning. You belong here. You don't have demons, you are the demons. And in Game 5, you drag the Lightning back through hell. Do you understand? The margin of error is near 0. It's the Tampa Bay actual Lightning. And I am sick and exhausted of this loser mentality in the fan base. Here we go. Oh, are they really going to blow this? This guy sucks, that guy sucks, that guy sucks. And we're going to pretend like they didn't win Game 1 5-0. But then Tampa comes back and wins Game 2. Yeah, and what is to be gleaned from that? What do you learn? What is the lesson there? The lesson to be learned there is championship quality teams do not sit there and feel sorry for themselves and whine and moan and bellyache. They get back on the horse and ride. So in Game 5 and Game 6 in Tampa, and if the hockey gods deem it necessary, Game 7 back in Toronto, you prove that Game 4 was a ghost, a fossil, something that you hang in the museum, a scary story that you tell to get kids to eat their vegetables and hockey players to backcheck. This team has proven they're so much better than Game 4. They shed this skin a long time ago. And I don't want to ever see it again. Speaking of things we're never going to see again, Justin Holl in a Leaf uniform, possibly. First minute, opening faceoff, it's third line versus third line, and Holl and Giordano are back there for the Leafs. I actually think Sheldon Keefe has had the best of John Cooper in this series, but on this opening shift, John Cooper eats Keefe's food. Third line versus third line, and Ross Colton has one mission to obliterate Mark Giordano behind the net. Get it deep, seek, destroy. Eerily similar to the Leafs-Islanders game near the end of the season, where Ross Johnston blew up Mark Giordano on the very first possession, and then he fought Wayne Simmons. If 2 different teams have been able to do that to you twice in so few games, it might be something you're doing. With the Leafs reeling, the Lightning managed to switch out personnel, and now it's the big boys out there. It's Kucherov. And as we would find out a second later, it was Stamkos. Lightning throw it in front, and Justin Holl actually makes a very poised play before making an extraordinarily not poised play. The Lightning apply pressure, resulting in this. Who is this pass going to exactly? Off the boards to the guy at the point who's not even looking? Why? Why? So it's a turnover now, and after several seconds of muddled confusion, he barely moves, and then when he does, he takes away the eyes of his own goalie. Nightmare of a starting shift from Justin Holl, and it stayed that way. From Nick D'Souza, tough period for Holl. This is the first period. Played just under 5 minutes in that period. 9-0 Tampa in shot attempts. 4 scoring chances against, 1 goal against. He's going to need to step it up if he wants to stay in this lineup over Liljegren. Oh, no. That ship has sailed. There is not a chance Sheldon Keefe plays him in Game 5. But then there's this question from a reporter after the game. We actually have the video and audio of this one. Here's Sheldon Keefe getting asked why he played his worst defenseman.
So why would you start your worst defenseman in a building knowing it was going to be this loud and this crazy?
Who's our worst defenseman?
Justin Holl.
It's your opinion, I guess.
Okay, so it's easy for me to say I get to cover this whole series from my basement, but the purpose of the question, the wording of the question, seems a little self-serving. When you call a player the worst defenseman on the team to the coach's face, you are clearly intentionally trying to get a rise out of the coach for whatever reason. But here Keefe asks, who's our worst defenseman? Well, dude, the answer is Justin Holl, and you know how I know that? You had him scratch for games 1 and 2. Why was he scratched for games 1 and 2? And why, then, is he going to be scratched for game 5? Because he's going to be. It's not about him being bad. He's not bad. He's not bad. We overrate how bad Holl is. He's not actually as bad as everyone says. He had a trash game in this one. Trash. So bad. But we still over-exaggerate it. But I tell you what, he's not one of their 6 best. And you know what's amazing? Maybe he is. Because as bad as Holl was in game 4, oof, Maron Lyubushkin! And this is why I don't really like singling out Justin Holl. Yes, his misplay got the Leafs off on the wrong foot, but no one looked good in this game. No one. Puck rings around the boards, goes off a Muzzin stick. It's an accident, but it still happened. Goes in front. Bellemare scores. Now the Leafs are down 2-0. Do they recover from it? Do they? This is Patrick Actual Maroon beating Morgan Rielly in a game of know where the puck is and the Lightning have a 2-on-1 that Patrick Maroon only needs himself for. He scores because Lyubushkin's there stuck with 2 guys, and now it's 3-0. I was told during the stream that it was the quickest 3 goals the Leafs had allowed all season, which I refuse to believe, because did that 10-7 game against Detroit not happen? I tell you what, if game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs beat that regular season atrocity where everyone was literally pooping their pants with food poisoning, they're in so much trouble. The second period, you know what? You gotta believe. You gotta believe. You're down 3-0, but you gotta believe. Hey, you ever play NHL 22 online? I know it's bad, just answer the question. Right, don't you hate when the right D plays on the left side because they don't know what they're doing? Ilya! Why? Why? That's Ross Colton, Ilya. Why? Pourquoi? How come? Why? Colton goes in, snipes it. Yeah, Campbell maybe should have had that one, but come on! Try! Basically try it all! Followed by a tidal wave of penalties. Then they allow a 5-on-3 goal. I'm not even going to break that down structurally. It's 5-on-3 against Tampa. You're asking to get sniped on. So now the Leafs are down 5-0, and Keefe decides to save Jack Campbell for Game 5 because the game is over. It's over. 5-0? It's over. You can't behave like it's over, but it was over. Now, ignoring the 2 Tampa empty netters, because of course they scored some empty netters, the Leafs did end up scoring 3 goals after that. The second one was a nice pass from John Tavares to William Nylander for a one-timer. That was at 4-on-4, so we won't read into that too much. There's not going to be a lot of 4-on-4 in this series, although there were 4 instances of it in this game. Here's the first goal on the power play. Bodies in front, stick on the ice in front of the net. Easy. Here's goal number 3. Jake Muzzin's shot. Do you think Vasilevsky sees this? Huh? Do you think he sees it? I said this for the Leafs taking on Carey Price last year, and it's still true this year, except this team is actually equipped to score these types of goals. Andrei Vasilevsky is the best goalie on the planet. If you take away his eyes, he's just some guy. The Leafs do have some structural things to work on heading into Game 5. They were awful at breaking the puck out. They could not receive the thing at the offensive blue line and then carry it in. Tampa did a masterful job of breaking things up and just making the Leafs' lives miserable in the neutral zone. The Leafs got hemmed in the defensive zone way too many times. But the most important thing the Leafs need to know heading into Game 5, this should write it on the marker board over the lineup. The game starts after the national anthem. Forget aspirations of being champions. You're going to be champions. You're going to win. And what you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do en route to being a Stanley Cup champion from this day forward is you start the game on bloody time. This is absolutely the last time we were going to have this conversation. Still sticking with Leafs in 7? Yep, not a doubt. I don't have a single doubt. I'm being serious. I had a vision! And the vision didn't say it was going to be easy. I don't care if you win Game 5 by the skin of your teeth. I don't care if you run them out of the building. What I do want from the Leafs before they leave Scotiabank Arena on Tuesday, win. Just win. Champions win. How? Who cares? Just win. And when you head to Tampa Thursday, it is knowing that it will be the last time the fans in Tampa see their team this season. Flip the script. They can do it, and they will. John Tavares, flip the script. You can, and you will. Whatever 6 defensemen Keefe chooses to ice on Tuesday, flip the script. They can, and they will. Outside of swapping Jan Ruda for Zach Bogosian, I don't think Tampa's made a single line adjustment this series. They don't need to juggle the lines and get out the blender to make a difference. It's an attention to detail. It's a structure. It's a mindset. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. If this isn't enough for you, we got a brand new Steve Dangle podcast coming tomorrow. It's coming after the game this week. And also Game Over Toronto. You're not going to want to miss that on SDPN, the YouTube channel. They're going to win. They are. Don't worry.